Justin Marshall. Springboks have a powerful tool. The All Blacks have lost after dropping rugby games too often. Justin Marshall says the Springboks now have a powerful tool. The All Blacks have lost. The Springboks have a powerful tool that the All Blacks team of the past had but have now lost. That is the view of ex-scrum half Justin Marshall, who believes that teams are no longer intimidated by fronting up against New Zealand sides in the land of the long white cloud. Marshall's remarks come after the Blacks' defeats to Argentina and South Africa this year, as well as the Black Ferns' loss to England at Twickenham. Fellow ex-All Blacks Jeff Wilson quizzed the former halfback on whether New Zealand just has to accept that they are not there anymore in being the envy of the rest world. "I look beyond performance as we are a result-orientated nation," Marshall said on the breakdown. "We want to beat everybody and everybody wants to beat us, and that is in our DNA, that ability to win regardless of the performance. This is something that the 51-year-old believes that the Springboks have embraced, along with the trait the All Blacks teams of old had. That's to a degree what South Africa have discovered at the moment, like they don't know how to lose, and that's a really powerful tool to have in sport, refusing to lose," he added. "Good All Blacks teams historically, they don't accept losing, and that's got to be the benchmark, and at the moment we're just dropping rugby games too often. You win and everything takes care of itself. You win World Cups, you win championships, you win everything, and you're number one in the world." All Blacks acknowledge reality of crucial shortcoming against Springboks despite no shortage of talent. Show host Kirsty Stanway raised the question as to whether New Zealand rugby as a whole is judged on the performances of the All Blacks, with the Black Ferns and Sevens teams have a winning culture. "I think there's an element of that." Marshall mentioned 3 letters, their DNA, and I think for us in New Zealand rugby we're in this position right now where the game is challenging us in certain ways, teams are giving us difficulty, Wilson replied. "I felt we had that from 2003 to 2011, where the game didn't suit the All Blacks. It got very confrontational. England were very, very good. Obviously the Springboks won in 2007, and I start thinking about what is our DNA? Is our DNA shifting? What's our competitive advantage as a rugby nation, and are we providing the players and the coaches the best opportunities to be successful?" I'm talking about New Zealand rugby here because if you start looking at our history, we're not winning World Rugby Under 20 titles. We are not winning Rugby World Cups. We're under pressure when we're up against the top sides. We've lost series in New Zealand for the first time. We've lost to Argentina at home for the first time. This balance of power, and yes, our record overall in terms of percentages, it looks quite good. The Black Ferns have won 2 Rugby World Cups in 17 and 21, but as a whole, what is our DNA? I've always believed that we're 1 to 23 as a team. The way that we play 1 to 15 on the field, we use a certain skill set. Are we doing and playing to that, or are we chasing everybody else and we can't get ahead of the game, and that's not good enough for us given the way we've played the game in the past. Justin Marshall calls for outdated All Blacks policy to be scrapped as New Zealand are not unbeatable anymore. Mills Muliana added, "I think the landscape has changed a heck of a lot. I think our development with the players coming through, I don't think we've ever got to a stage where we're reacting. We've never done that. We've sort of evolved. We used to dominate, and unfortunately, right now, the landscape has changed because we are being reactive as opposed to being innovative." Meanwhile, Marshall believes that the shift in world dominance means that opposition teams no longer fear the All Blacks and fronting up against sides in New Zealand, something which is incredibly difficult to reinstate. People used to fear coming to New Zealand to play against any of our teams, but we've lost that mojo and teams are starting to come here and win regularly. Teams that historically have never been able to do it, he added. Ireland, Argentina, and the Lions series was drawn here. There is no longer that fear in the players' minds that New Zealand are impossible to beat at home. That was a powerful thing that the All Blacks used to carry, but that's dissipated. The visiting teams don't have that baggage anymore. I think what you need to do is make it impenetrable force again. That's the challenge, isn't it? How do you create that DNA that gives New Zealand back that ability to put the fear of God in the opponents, because they know that it's near on impossible to beat the All Blacks at home? Read more. Jeff Wilson's audacious claim about current All Blacks compared to when he started out. The debate over Damian McKenzie and Beauden Barrett rages on. Justin Marshall thinks the All Blacks will beat the Wallabies whoever takes to the field. Wilson has made a bold claim about the new players coming through compared to his time in the test setup. Marshall has called for New Zealand rugby to scrap their outdated policies. Planet Sport Limited 2024, all rights reserved. All Black star reveals the common trend which is harming New Zealand under Scott Robertson. Cody Taylor, one of the most experienced and consistent players in the All Blacks, has shared some crucial insights about where the team is heading and where they might be tripping up. The veteran hooker says the All Blacks are on the right track, but there's one thing holding them back right now, especially under the leadership of new head coach Scott Robertson. It's about converting their opportunities into points. The All Blacks have always been famous for their fast-paced, attacking rugby, but in the last few matches, the finishing touch has been missing. Taylor's pointing to this as the common trend that's costing the team valuable wins. If you are a fan of All Blacks, write "Go All Blacks" in the comments and subscribe to the channel. With just one win from their 4 matches in the Rugby Championship, New Zealand has a lot to prove as they gear up for the Bledisloe Cup clashes against the Wallabies. Losses to South Africa, a shock defeat to Argentina, and a tough outing in the Republic have left some wondering if the All Blacks have lost their edge. But according to Taylor, it's not that the All Blacks are far off from where they need to be. It's just about nailing the opportunities they're creating. "I think we're creating a lot of opportunities. It's just a matter of finishing them," Taylor said to the media. The All Blacks matches against South Africa showed a side that can stand toe-to-toe with the best. Taylor acknowledged that the Springboks have mastered the art of winning test matches. But the All Blacks game plan, focused on an attacking brand of rugby, is something Taylor says they're proud of. No, it's just about getting the timing and execution right, especially in those critical closing moments of a game. And that's been the real challenge lately, converting pressure into points. New Zealand's head coach, Scott Robertson, has immense respect for the Kiwi players now donning the Wallabies jerseys. As the Bledisloe Cup looms, he knows that his squad needs to make every moment count on the field. Taylor, too, has his eyes set on continuing to develop as part of the All Blacks pack, acknowledging that they still have a long way to go if they want to reach their full potential. The physicality and grit they showed against South Africa was encouraging, but Taylor insists they can and must do better. "We're proud of a few things. We had an honest review around some of our set-piece stuff and how we can be better," Taylor said. "There's a lot of work going in and a lot of pride in what we've done. But it's only the start. We've still got so much more potential to get out of this team and this pack." It's clear that the All Blacks aren't just about talent, they're about relentless improvement and pride in their performance. Taylor, at 33, understands that he's one of the leaders in the forward pack. While the next Rugby World Cup might be a step too far for him, he's committed to setting a high standard and guiding the younger players coming through the ranks. He knows there's a legacy to uphold, and he's determined to contribute to that in any way he can. "You definitely feel like you have an obligation to lead," he said, reflecting on the pressure of filling the shoes of those who came before him. "We've all got a role to play, and whatever that is, you've got to nail it when you're out there." As the All Blacks prepare for their next big test in Sydney against the Wallabies, the pressure is on to put everything they've learned into practice. Robertson has made a few changes to the lineup, and fans are hotly debating who should start, particularly when it comes to the ongoing rivalry between Damian McKenzie and Beauden Barrett. But whatever decisions are made, one thing is for sure: the All Blacks know they can't afford to waste any more chances. As we wrap up, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications. We've got plenty more All Blacks content coming your way, from match breakdowns to exclusive interviews with players like Cody Taylor. Don't miss a beat, and be part of the conversation as the All Blacks continue their journey under Scott Robertson. Hit that subscribe button, and let's get ready for the next big game. So, what do you think? Are the All Blacks missing the mark? Or are they on the right track under Robertson's leadership? Let us know in the comments.